Hey everyone, Roger Haskett here. We're talking with leaders in a pandemic. I put on a new suit jacket because my brother was saying to me, Roger, you need to change your suit jacket. And I was like, I have. And he's like, you're wearing the same blue one. I was like, no, it's actually three different blue ones that are obviously very subtly different because I think they're different, but clearly people watching the video, including my brother, don't. So I put on this suit for this video, but the challenge is whenever I put on this shirt, this suit, I always think I should be talking like this. Yo, hey, yo, what you doing there? Yay, whoa, what you doing? Yay, yeah, come on down with the cement shoes. You gotta put them on because I'm wearing this suit would look like this. So anyway, you can listen to everything I say with that accent in your head if you want. So what we're going to be talking about today is positive ratio. And we're going to be talking about what happens when your positive ratio goes negative. Let me tell you a story. So in my life, what happens is that when I go into a darker time, when life is hard, when the pandemic gets me down, when my choices in the past come back to haunt me, when I just get really tired, when I get run down, when it's hard to fight to be positive and the negative just creeps up like a rising tide, and until it overwhelms you, whatever it happens to be. When I get into those zones, what I find happens is almost exactly the same. This is a pattern that I need to learn from, that I'm still trying to learn from. Right? Recognizing patterns doesn't mean you automatically fix them, but it's a step in the right direction. So in this pattern, what happens is that over time, as this negative rises in my life, my behavior changes. And when the negative rises, it's harder to reach for positive. And it's harder to practice your positive ratio. Remember, 6-to-1 positive to negative interactions, whatever that is, smiles, comments, feedback, whatever, 6 positive to 1 negative is where Olympic gold medal teams exist, right? If you want to be working at that level, you need 6-to-1. Positive to negative. If you have 3-to-1, that's a great relationship, like a functioning one. And if you have 1-to-1, that's a relationship that's broken and on its way out. If you have a negative, like if you have 1 positive to 5 negatives, that's a relationship that most likely is on life support, if not having been taken off life support, right? Like that's a relationship that's on its way into the trash bin of history if you don't take steps to change it. So what happens for me is that my positive ratio ability decreases. And so I stop sharing as much positive. And over time, the same thing happens. So there's a lag, usually there's a little bit of a lag. And what happens in my family is that I start to notice after hours of me being in that zone where I'm not walking into rooms with positive energy and with like, hey, I love you and what a great thing you're doing over there. And hey, let's have a conversation about this. Let me smile at you. None of those things are happening. Instead, I'm walking in with like silence and, stormy brows and, I'm carrying around a cloud over my head. When I walk in with that, over time, the people around me change. So here's a fact from neuroscience. If you the most emotionally expressive person in the room will transmit their emotion to other people within 2 minutes. So 2 minutes or less, you will transmit, the most emotionally expressive person will transmit their emotion to others. So I walk into the room and I'm very emotionally, I have a lot of power when it comes to my moods and my energy walking into rooms. I get paid to walk into rooms of strangers, like hundreds, thousands of people, and unify them into an activity, into an energy, into a keynote. So by the end of it, they go, "What was that? We've never experienced something like that." So, I'm good at affecting people around me. I'm good at having emotional contagion. So what happens, back to the story, is that my family or the other people in my life start to respond to my lack of positive and my overabundance of negative. And so what happens is that my relationship with those people starts to have problems. And when my relationship with those people starts to have problems, our ability to collaborate, our ability to cooperate, our ability to focus together, our ability to engage together decreases dramatically. And so by the end of a day where I have been spreading negative ratio rather than positive ratio, the people in my life start to be not so pleasant around me. We start to have much more conflict. They are suddenly more short-tempered as well as me, because my emotion, my negative emotion, has been infecting them, has been infecting them. And then their negative emotion, wow, it's like a vicious circle all of a sudden, because their negative ratio starts to affect me, and we start spiraling down into this zone of nothing pleasant, nothing, almost always nothing good, and almost always no forward momentum on anything positive. Lots of forward momentum on negative things, like, man, if you had a fight 2 weeks ago, that fight is suddenly remembered and you're all of a sudden in the midst of that. But positive momentum, where's that? Hard to see around you. So, what this means for us, for people in a pandemic and for leaders in a pandemic. Hey everyone, you just finished watching part 1. Part 2 will be dropping either later today or tomorrow. Check it out when you have a moment. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so that other people have a chance of coming in contact with these videos. I'm Roger Haskett. Thank you so much.